I think part of the lure of Silicon Valley is the potential riches that could be made. We've seen fortunes built. We've seen fortunes destroyed, for that matter. I want to talk a little bit about what's gone on in technology in the public markets recently and whether or not that's a changed perception of what's going on here. And Pat, I know we talked about it earlier when we were on TV on my show, but what's your take about what has happened in the past few months when it comes to valuations and why it is that old technology companies seem to be faring the best? So old technology like IBM and Microsoft, the ones that paid dividends, the ones that were perceived as stodgy and not necessarily as innovative as some of the hotter technology companies.
Yeah, and I sort of break, as you imply, I sort of break tech into three buckets, right? The old tech, HP, IBM, Cisco, et cetera, right? The new tech, of which I'd put VMware in that category, and then the hot tech, right? You know, very
But you put
aggressive.
Dave
Don't
in that
point at
category.
FireEye now.
Right.
You're in the hot tech.
You're not.
Yeah, these very, breakthrough, very fast growth, new category companies. And if you look at valuations across those and what they've done over time, generally old tech is pretty modestly valued, right, compared to earnings and, dividend rates, et cetera. New tech, right, has generally held pretty, their valuations have held up fairly well, still fairly highly valued PE for those companies that are on the right side of some of the technology trends. And then we had the hot tech as being insanely valued earlier this year. We did see a correction, so we're only 3/4 insane now as opposed to totally insane, right? But those have just been, through the roof. If you look at tech overall, right, it's not all that highly valued compared to the market, right, in that sense. So this isn't a bubble that the whole thing has gone crazy, but you have seen these different pockets of tech. And if anything, right, if you just look at base dividends, old tech actually isn't a bad investment overall. New tech continuing, where we are, growth, opportunity, but still fairly established companies like VMware today. And then I put my friend Dave here in this, hot tech category that, yeah, maybe they are a little bit overvalued for what the future is.
Still, even with their significant declines.
Aren't you glad you came?
Can I argue back just
Of
for
course. Please do.
because it's fun, Pat. No, but a couple things. Number one, I think when you look at some of the hotter tech companies right now, the growth rates are astronomical. I don't know if you saw, we had 132% growth last quarter. This company went from 200 employees to several thousand
It can't be valued
employees.
that goes on forever, Dave.
And I remember VMware growing kind of like that and having valuations back in the day where those valuations were similar. But the revenue growth multiples versus the PE multiples are very different. And you almost look at where we're trading today, and it's not even sometimes half where it was during the internet bubble days. So you could say, is it fully valued, partially valued, insanely valued? But now you have a much longer, in my opinion, elasticity to this quote-unquote bubble because we're wider, we're deeper, many more consumers, many more markets we can serve. The internet is so much more advanced at this point. So the growth sustainability for companies in the hot tech can last for years and potentially be, very big, very strong companies for a long period of time. So, how do you value that now in this currency? One man thinks one way, another way. But the point of it is, this is a much bigger, more sustained opportunity than I think it was in '99, 2000, at least one man's view.